So John, tell us about this great news simulator.
Yeah, well, we've worked on this it was actually developed by our brothers and sisters at United States Power Squadron with a grant from U.S. Coast Guard, and then we worked with them to actually Canadianize it, if you will. It's now available here in French and English. We're working on Cantonese so we can use it in those markets as well. That'll soon be up. We're kind of tweaking it a little bit to make it a little more Canadian and add more information about the Canadian market. But the simulator does, I mean, it really does simulate well what would happen in a real vessel. When we first got it, for example, there was no resistance in the wheel. So we talked to Logitech, whose wheel it is. We talked to the guys who are developing it. Now we have resistance in the wheel. The throttle is a real throttle from the industry. The steering wheel is one that was developed for auto racing, but we've adapted it. The boat it's built on a whaler center console. The speedo works, the tack works, the compass works. So all of that stuff, we can go from night to day, day to night. We can add wind, we can add current.
Wow.
And then there's a number of built-in programs. So if you want to practice docking or undocking or run a slalom course, and the trim tab works as well, so that when you're running a slalom,
trim the engine,
you can trim
the
it
bow or drop it down.
So when you're running the slalom course and you're maybe running a half speed and your bow's up and you can't see the buoys, so now you trim it down, the bow drops, now you can see the buoys, and now you can do what you would normally do. Yeah, it's a really fabulous deal.
Well, it occurs to me, for people who have never had an opportunity of actually driving a boat before, this is a great way of getting them started and giving them an opportunity to really feel the wheel and the throttle and have some fun.
Yeah, and when you hit the dock, you hear the crunch, and the boat does whatever if you hit the buoy. And there are other vessels in the lake, and they're doing sailboats and cruisers, and they're doing their thing. Well, when you come across them, when you're out in the lake, you have to respond. You don't know in advance what they're going to do.
Now, do you need to interact with them correctly according to the rules of the road?
Well, yeah, that's the whif idea. So if here's a sailing vessel and it has right of way, you got to go in behind it.
Perfect.
So it gives you a chance to learn that. And if there's a bifurcation buoy or something like that sitting there, well, I can hear something because I can hear a bell. But like, for example, I actually purposefully hit one of those.
Oh no!
and the boat,
right.
You hear the crunch, and so it reacts like it would normally. Well, actually, we had a bunch of sea cadets here the other day. One of them actually flipped the boat over. But, I mean, better it happen here than in real life,
Yep.
You get a good simulation of what goes on, and we've just had this now for a few months, and we'll be, as we develop it, we'll introduce more, and then they'll eventually hopefully get into the classroom and so forth. So what we're going to do now is I'm just going to shift over here, and we're going to introduce Juanita Mead, who's one of our instructors, okay, and she's going to actually show you a little bit about how this actually works. So we're on the slalom course now. This is one of the programs.
I'm going to do it slowly at first. The idea is not to oversteer the boat. I'm a sailor, I'm not a power boater. So.
Okay. And one thing Juanita can do here is you can see the bow's up a little bit because we got a bit of power on. You can actually trim it down, and you see as it trims down, you can now see the buoys a little better.
That's right.
And then you can run the complete course, turn the boat around, and run it again.
Really? Okay.
And there are other, you might be able to see a little bit, well, we're back to the course. There are other vessels, as I've said before, out on the lake here, and you have to react to them as you would have to react to any other vessel you run across, on your days boating.
To the middle of the lake again. There's a boat. Pick up some speed. This is a fairway marker here. We can pass on either side of that. Over here that is potentially a collision course. It's going at the same angle all the time. So I'm going to either change my course or slow down. Now his angle is changing. I've chosen to go behind him. He had the right of way. Sailboats over here, and sailboats always like you to go behind them when they're sailing. Sailboats under sail have the right of way, so let them go on their way.
Okay, now let's go back to the main menu, and so now you can go to a menu, and you can see these are all the various programs. You can leave the dock, working with lines, working with fairway buoys, practice pivot turns, mooring, practice docking, and then a slalom course we just had, and then we've got crossing, overtaking, head-on scenarios, and an emergency stop. Here's the marina. So it starts, the program starts, little helicopter view, we go over the marina, there's our vessel, and then the shot comes back, and there we are in the helm of the vessel. Now we're good to go.
At the moment we don't have any wind or current, so the idea is not to oversteer. So as soon as you start steering, okay, now start bringing it back. Okay. Start bringing it back. Over here, yeah. Come on over here. Okay. Now in this scenario here, you've got, look this way. There's a boat right here. Okay. There's a fairway marker there, so you can go on either side of the fairway marker. He's also on a collision course because he's staying there. His angle's not changing. Right. So are you going to slow down, turn, go behind him?
Go towards him. I want to jump his wake. Because that's the type of person I am.
Okay, so you're out of his way. Happens to the boat.
That is extremely realistic. I think this is going to be a fabulous teaching tool for the Canadian Power and Sail Squadrons to use. It's the sort of thing that anybody would enjoy trying.